A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is Talk Nigeria on Greetings 105.7. Comes away Mondays through Fridays, 9 to 10 a.m. right here on your number one hit music station in the nation's capital. My name is Chris Ogogo and I'm your host. And of course, we've got some very, very interesting issue to discuss on the show this morning. Of course, we're still taking a look at the fallout of the 2019 general elections. And I must tell you, if at some point you thought that the general elections were done, well, actually they're not, because INEC still has until the 30th of April, which is at the end of this month, to conclude everything as it concerns the 2019 general elections. And she must be aware there are some states where, things have not exactly been decided. For example, in Zamfara State, there is a legal tussle there, and of course in Rivers State, which is actually going to be our focus on the show this morning. INEC declared the election there undecided. But of course, they've also come out to say recently that they will resume the collation of results and the announcement of results as well, as it concerns the governorship election in Rivers State. For this moment, we do not know who the governor-elect will be, but of course, we do have an incumbent governor who is also a candidate of the PDP in the governorship election in Rivers State. So that's what we're discussing on the show this morning, Talk Nigeria on Greetings 105.7. It is always a pleasure to have you guys join us on the show. You know how we do it. We get to take your contributions at some point on the show. But don't worry, let's talk a bit about it right now. My name once again is Chris Ogogo, and I'm your host, and I've got two gentlemen of the legal profession with me, and we're taking a look at the events in Rivers State and probably take a look at some of the legal implications of what's currently going on in the state. Joining me this morning on the show is Chizi Eni, who is a lawyer. He is the President General of the Initiative for Transparent Strategy and Good Leadership. It is a pleasure to have you on Talk Nigeria. Good morning.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Thank you very much for coming. And also joining us is Olu Chigozie, who is also a lawyer. He joins us on the show as well this morning. It is a pleasure. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Thank you very much. So let me start with you, Mr. Olu. The issue in Rivers State, after the postponement, elections held on the 9th of March, but due to, several issues that happened in the state, INEC had to halt proceedings as far as the elections are concerned. But of course, they have now said they will resume the collation and announcement of results. But overall, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think INEC became a law unto itself by doing that which has no place in law. If you take a look at the Electoral Act, there is nowhere it says elections should be suspended. In several other states, I've heard elections being inconclusive due to one reason or the other. And INEC in Rivers State said the election was suspended. Now, if you had suspended an election, fine and good. What were your reasons? They even cited conflicting reasons. So, to me, whatever they think they are doing and whoever script they want to play, what they are doing is not right in law.
Well, you said they are playing a script. And then the question one would ask in that regard is, I think you must have heard, even if you didn't see some of the videos on social media, you must have heard about how some of the collation centers were disrupted. Collation of results were disrupted. So in such situations, what would INEC do? If not to halt the process?
Okay, now let's take it this way. They cited disruption of collation in various collation centers. And at the same time, INEC came up and said it had about 17 results already collated. From where and how? So if actually there were issues, insecurity, maybe some other challenges, fine, we agree. Substantially, you can't have the results ready and then you still say you had issues, that collation, which were those areas. Do you know that as I speak with you, INEC has never pointed out any of those areas? Even as I speak with you, no area has been pointed out to say, okay, we had issues here, we had there. In fact, to tell you, the most shocking thing was the area where they had evidence, overwhelming, that so many issues happened. Even some military officers were injured. Some of them are still taking medications as I speak with you. Obiakpo local government, where His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, went there by himself with his boys and demobilized every other person. The likes of Chiko Didike, Alex Wele, and Dr. Lawrence Chuku, they were all arrested by His Excellency, and all the materials carried away. Do you know that as we speak, as we speak, that's
okay. I don't want us to, make unsubstantiated claims.
Okay.
I don't want us to, make such claims that we really cannot back up with facts at this point.
But the facts are there. The facts are there. Just go on internet and Google what transpired. Even the army report has it.
But as it is at this point,
yes.
You said INEC should have continued with the process, and the question I asked is this: what happens? Because there were reports that some collation centers there were disruptions in some collation centers. In such situations, what would INEC have done, if not to halt the entire process?
The halting of the entire process is not the issue. Okay, assuming without considering there were disruptions, where did they get the results from? That's to tell you
they didn't say there were disruptions in all the local governments.
Okay, the disruption would have been substantial enough to halt the whole.
Probably.
Probably. Okay. Now, what amounts to substantial disruption? You had out of 23, you had 17 results ready, and you are saying it's so substantial when you have 17 results ready, like you have everything is ready, and you say so. Where then the disruption take place? Where and where? Even INEC cannot even substantiate. If you see their release, so what? It can't even convince anybody.
Okay, let me get to you, Mr. Amy. One of the things that have really made the governorship election in Rivers State become national news is the involvement of the APC. The APC is not on the ballot as far as the governorship election is concerned. They said they were adopting the AAC and its candidate. Now, just last week, the national chairman of the APC said they do not have any agreement to adopt any party in Rivers State. And, a lot of people believe that if not for the involvement of the APC, the election in Rivers State would have gone on smoothly. Do you think the involvement of the APC has somewhat, made the election in Rivers State what it is at the moment?
The involvement of the APC in Rivers State is always against the law. If it is, which law? The whole truth is that APC does not have candidates in Rivers State. But the members of APC is of their right to vote for candidates of their choice. And even though APC have had candidates, there are members of APC who will not vote for the candidates of the party. So voting is on individual basis. It is not on party line. You decide who to vote for. So APC.
Okay, sorry. Let me take you through this now, so you understand the context. It says the All Progressives Congress has kicked against plans by top officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to resume the collation of results. Sorry, I will take. This is actually not correct. I'll try to take another one. But it's actually about the APC reacting to the resumption of the collation of results and the announcement of results by INEC, and the APC is kicking against it, which is why I'm asking the question, because of course, members of the APC have got the right to vote for whoever they feel like, but at the end of the day, given the fact that the party is not on the ballot, and in this case, INEC is saying they're going to resume the collation of results and the announcement of results, one would be tempted to ask, how then is it APC's problem? Because after all, you're not on the ballot, so why are you kicking against it?
Let me be very, very, very obvious for you. Let me ask one question. All the registered political parties in Nigeria, does all of them have presidential candidates?
I'm the one asking the questions now.
Now, when some of them adopted a particular candidate, did you in any way oppose to that?
I don't think you've gotten the context of the question I'm asking.
I do. It's the same thing.
No, hold on. No. Hold on. I'm the one asking the questions now. What I'm saying is this: the APC is kicking against the resumption of the coalition. Why is that? Because they're not on the ballot.
No, let me tell you.
Hold on. They're not on the ballot. So what is their interest as a party now, I'm not talking of people wanting to vote or not wanting to vote. What is the interest as a party,
Now,
given the fact that they're not on the ballot?
APC in Rivers State took a decision to adopt a candidate. First of all, you talk about Adam Oshimole. APC in Rivers State does not need the consent of Adam Oshimole, whether he's the president or the national chairman, to support a candidate. We don't need his consent. He is not from Rivers State. He is from his own state.
But he's the chairman of the party.
That is what I'm saying. I said we don't need the consent of Adam Oshimole.
When you say, are you a member of the APC?
I'm a member of the APC.
Okay.
And we don't need the consent of Adam Oshimole to support any candidate in Rivers State. We don't need his consent. We don't need his permission. We don't even need to inform him. And therefore, whatever we are doing in APC in Rivers State is legitimate and legal. We decided to support a candidate, Awara of AAC. It is of our decision and not the decision of the APC National. It is we that took that decision, and we don't need the consent.
Okay,
of
but
Adam Oshimole.
you still not answered the question that I asked.
I have. I said
No, you
because we have adopted a candidate.
Okay.
We have interest. We have adopted a candidate of AAC. Therefore, we now have interest to protect the candidate we have adopted, where irregularities is occurring.
Which is why I'm still asking the question now. You have adopted the AAC. Good. The AAC is on the ballot. The APC is not. So why is it not the AAC that is talking, and why is it the APC?
No.
Like I said, hold on. I'm talking of the party now. The party APC, which is not on the ballot at all. It is the AAC that you have adopted. So why is it not the AAC that is speaking? Why is it the APC?
Have you not heard the AAC spoke? Have you not been seeing their press releases? Unless you're telling me you've not seen. Tell me you've not seen. Not that AAC. No, let me tell you. AAC has consistently been on press with respect to what is happening in Rivers State. Even on the last day they had a stakeholders meeting, the AAC candidate at a point in time walked out because he was complaining of the irregularities that have occurred. So unless you're telling me you don't have information about what is happening in Rivers State,
Mr. Enyi, you don't have to attack my personality.
No, I'm not attacking you.
I'm just telling you. Hold on.
I am from Rivers State. I'm informing you what is happening in Rivers State. So you allow me to inform you.
Mr. Enyi, we're not here. We're not fighting.
No, we're not
okay,
fighting.
So I'm asking questions and I need you to clarify.
No, I have clarified. I said AAC has been on the media.
Hold on. The question I'm asking is real simple. That the AAC is on the ballot. They are the ones who are contesting the election with the PDP. The APC is not. Now everybody knows that the APC in Rivers State says they adopted the AAC. All well and good. But what I'm asking is, why is the APC the one kicking against the decision by INEC when the APC is not on the ballot?
No, I have just answered the question. I said the AAC is kicking. The AAC has been on the press. The AAC governorship candidate even walked out of the stakeholders meeting.
Okay.
And now
let me get to you,
APC as a party that adopted the AAC also have interest to protect.
Mr.
And therefore we must raise issues when need be.
Mr. Alu, let me ask you this question as a lawyer. There's what is called local standard.
Yes.
Good. In the event that this election in Rivers State goes to the tribunal,
Yes.
goes into litigation,
Yes.
would the APC, as a party that wasn't on the ballot,
Yes.
would they have the locus to contest the outcome? I'm not talking of what happened before, the outcome of the election where they were not on the ballot. Would they have the locus? I want you to give me, from a legal perspective now, would they have the locus to contest the outcome of the Rivers State governorship election, bearing in mind that they were not on the ballot?
They may not have the locus.
They would not.
Yes.
Which is why I'm asking that question. So if they would not,
No,
wait,
okay.
I want to put this into proper context. Because if the APC would not have the locus in court to contest the election in Rivers State,
Tribunal.
yes, how then is it their business what INEC decides to do in an election where they are not participating?
Fine, it's their business because they have interest to protect. Within the ambit of the law, what they are doing is okay. Now, tribunal is a different thing. They supported a candidate. They can't fold their hands and see things go wrong. In fact, what is at stake?
When you say they can't fold their hands, what do you mean by that?
They can't watch you and commit all the electoral atrocities, and you expect people to keep quiet. Things are going wrong. Even as a Nigerian,
Okay.
as a Nigerian, I'm not running any election as per myself under any political party. Just like now, I'm not on the ballot as Ololu Chigozie contesting under a particular party. If I feel and I notice any wrongdoing, I have all the rights to air out my view and disagree, and even probably drag INEC to court if I have considered the requisite conditions.
But at the end of the day, you do not have the locus.
No. If I have considered the requisite, as I am today,
I'm talking of the APC.
No, hold on. APC, the locus you are talking about is maybe challenging the outcome of tribunal. Okay, yes. I lost or this or that or that or that. That they do not have. But there are some issues which are not issues that are for tribunal. If I want to challenge any process taken by the INEC, and I look at the relevant laws, I can kickstart my actions from there. So the fact that APC is not on the ballot or was not on the ballot as when the election was contested doesn't mean that everybody, in fact, the APC you are talking about are Rivers people. I hope you understand.
Yes.
Rivers people cannot fold their hands and watch things go wrong. Wherever they notice any wrongdoing, they have the right to air out their views.
I think, in as much as we've been talking quite a lot about this issue, but I don't get the feeling that the questions have been properly answered. Now, let me ask again. You have just said something as a lawyer that the APC cannot challenge the outcome of the Rivers State governorship election.
And they can't go to tribunal.
Yes,
court.
And the tribunal. That's what I mean. Because you have to start from the tribunal, obviously. They cannot challenge the outcome of the election at the tribunal because they're not on the ballot. So they do not have the locus. Now, based on the fact that the APC do not have the locus to challenge the outcome of the governorship election at the tribunal, why then is the APC intent on countering INEC in an election that INEC is organizing that they are not a part of?
My brother, you see, we have answered this question.
No, you haven't.
And you are asking a question, but you are not the person to answer.
I want you to answer.
I never gave you the question to ask me. You asked.
I want you to answer.
And I've answered several.
Answer again.
The answer is this: APC as a party has a right to challenge whatever INEC is doing when APC feels INEC is doing the wrong thing.
Why is that so?
Because the interest of Rivers people is at stake. Just like I told you, as a Rivers man, if I feel what INEC is doing is bad, I will definitely have to air out. I will attack us, and then mind you that they sponsored, they adopted a candidate rather. They adopted a candidate, AAC candidate, and that's their interest.
Okay.
So whatever affects the AAC candidate also affects them.
Okay. Hold on. We'll take it one at a time. Let me get to you now. The candidate of the AAC, Awara Biopomabo, I hope I got that right.
Yes.
Now, I want us to assume now, I want us to look at these things hypothetically. Let's assume that the APC didn't have the internal crisis they had, and the APC successfully fielded a candidate in the governorship election in Rivers State. Do you think Mr. Awara would have polled as many votes as he did? Do you think would have come so close to the PDP candidate? Do you think the election would have been between the PDP and the AAC if the APC had contested?
That we shouldn't be talking here.
No, I'm just asking a question.
No, I have nothing to assume on that.
Okay. Mr. Chigozie.
Yes.
Just the same question I asked him. Do you think if the APC were to be on the ballot, do you think this election will be a keenly contested one between the AAC and the PDP?
You see, you have asked the question, you even have the answers to it.
Do I?
You have the answer.
I know.
The answer has been supplied by you. Okay. APC didn't have candidates. And they queued behind a particular candidate. If they had, what do you think?
Speak. No, you're not. I'm the one asking you a question. So,
APC didn't contest the election.
Yes.
APC supported a candidate.
Yes.
And it was a support, massive support of the APC that gave the level of success.
Okay.
So now I'm asking you, if APC had not supported, what do you think would have been the issue?
I don't know.
You don't know.
And
okay, let's leave it at that.
And as I said, I'm the one asking the question.
You are the one asking. I've also asked you. I've also asked you
questions.
I've also asked you.
I'm the one asking the questions. But still, looking at the way things, have gone, or the way things are going in Rivers State at this point, Mr. Eni, why do you think the APC is against the resumption of the collation of results. I mean, what's the problem?
Now, let me tell you, the problem in Rivers State is, first of all, the insecurity in Rivers State that has beclouded everybody. It has taken over the whole state, because now criminality in Rivers State pays, because the state government is supporting those who are volatile in nature. And
Mr. Aine, I don't want us to make such statements, please.
No,
let's stick to the issues.
Yes, you allow me. It's an issue. I have just read
I don't want us to make such claims. Please.
Okay,
let's just stick to
but
the
you
issues.
said issue.
You can say that issues of insecurity, please, but unless you have proof that you can show to us, I don't think the government is supporting.
If there are issues of insecurity, and I'm raising it now that the government is not doing anything, by implication, am I not telling you that the government is supporting it? So
let's not dwell on that.
Okay, now the issue of insecurity has taken a very high center stage in Rivers State, and based on that, since the government is not interested to do anything, the people resorted to protecting themselves. And now in Rivers State, why APC is kicking against all these things is because the INEC started ab initio from when the election had not been conducted to rob Rivers people of true accountability of what will be the outcome of the ballot. INEC started by appointing PDP members to be returning officers in election, known PDP members. Barry Mpiggy's immediate younger brother, the candidate of PDP, the senatorial candidate in Rivers Southwest, currently the senator-elect. Professor Joy Akanemo, Professor Mo, Dr. Peter Mede, and so many other known PDP members as returning officers. And these people go back to their houses, write the results, which you hear some of them say they will collate. And now, the election was conducted on 9th of March. What is the date of today? INEC came up to say that, there was widespread violence, there was militarization, and therefore we have suspended the election. Only God knows where INEC brought that word suspension, because it is not in any way close to Electoral Act.
I want to ask you something as a lawyer. You said that you've just made a claim that several PDP members were contracted as coalition officers.
Yes.
Right? That's what you said, right?
Yes.
In the election. Now, normally what you have said, as and you being an APC member, and your party has adopted the EAC, you've obviously stated some things you think are irregularities.
Yeah.
I want to believe you have proof and evidence for this.
Yeah.
So, and as a lawyer, why don't you just wait and take your matter to the tribunal? If you feel...
Now, this is a wrong advice. You're advising me.
I'm asking you a question. I'm not giving you an advice.
Okay, no, the question is wrong. We don't need to wait to look at INEC be doing what is wrong.
So you want to take the laws in your own hands?
We are not taking any laws into our hands, but INEC should do what is right. Telling INEC to do what is right, just like I'm here now to say INEC do what is right, does it mean I'm taking laws into my hands?
What is right?
What is right is, first of all, INEC suspended the process, which is unknown to law.
Okay.
Now, the same INEC said in 24 hours they will come up with a resolution. After 24 hours, no resolution. INEC said they will set up a fact-finding committee. Up till now, Rivers people does not know the outcome of the fact-finding committee.
So what is the right thing you want INEC to do?
The right thing we want INEC to do is that INEC has failed, and therefore every other thing should be anew. However, the everyday
fresh
protest,
elections.
Let me tell you, everyday protest in Rivers State is that Oboy Fanga should go. The electoral commissioner should go, and he has not gone. So what else do you expect of Rivers people? You know.
Okay, but let me.
We want fresh election in Rivers.
Let me ask. Okay, that's what you want.
We Rivers people, not me. We Rivers people. That's why we have been complaining.
That's what you want now.
We Rivers people, not me.
From what you have said, that you are also protesting that the resident electoral commissioner should go. Now, as a lawyer, aren't you aware that it is only INEC that can effect such a change?
No, that is why we are protesting for INEC to effect the change. And you know, one thing I don't like hearing is for somebody to tell me INEC is independent and therefore nobody does it, nobody does that. If INEC is so independent that nobody should tell them anything, nobody should suggest to them, why not they conduct election for INEC officials? So INEC will be so independent that they will conduct election for us, and yet we does not have option to
let me get to you, Mr. Chigozie, and I want to read from what the AAC governorship candidate in Rivers State said previously. The story goes to us. It says the governorship candidate of the African Action Congress in Rivers State, Yokomabo Awara, has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to declare him the governor-elect of the March 9 governorship poll. And this story was written on the 11th of March.
Okay.
Bill Pomabo, who made the call when he spoke with newsmen in Port Harcourt, demanded the redeployment of the State President Electoral Commissioner Obo Efanga for alleged incompetence. He alleged what you have just alleged now, that Efanga appointed card-carrying members of the PDP as INEC ad hoc staff. Now, Mr. Chigozie,
Yes.
if the AAC candidate that your party has adopted
Yes.
is saying that he won the election,
Yes.
so therefore it should be declared.
Yes.
Now, for it to be declared,
Yes.
votes must be tallied.
Yes.
It must be collated.
Yes.
How come on one hand, the AAC candidate himself, he's calling for a declaration.
Yes.
On the other hand, the APC is saying, no, don't declare. How do we marry this together?
Yes. This so-called declaration they want to embark on now of collation is belated. You know why? The initial call made by the AAC candidate was predicated on the fact that all the LGAs that results were collated, as at that night and 10th, he was in a clear lead. I can tell you, Ikole local government had 90-something thousand votes. Eleme, AAC won in Eleme, AAC won in Asari Toro, AAC won in, I think, Ahoda West, AAC won in Oyibo, even Tai. When this was so clear, when this was so clear to the INEC that their preferred candidate was losing, they said they have suspended the election. As at that day, I bet you, if they had collated what was on ground, AAC was leading. And after much postponement and not even giving us clear facts as to what is happening, they now came up and said, okay, we want to resume collation on so they will give you your timeline and this and that and that. My brother, INEC is not doing the right thing.
Okay, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll continue with the conversation, and then we will open the phone lines as well for you to call in and make your contributions, and as well send us text messages as far as on this issue is concerned this morning. It is Talk Nigeria on Greetings 105.7. Nice to have you on the show again. Talk Nigeria and Greetings 105.7. Monday, the 1st of April 2019. It is, and of course, we're opening the phone lines right now for you to call in and join the conversation. 070-1057-0088 or 070-1057-0909, or you send us a text message to 070-1057-0025. We're discussing the Rivers State governorship election situation, and I have two gentlemen with me in the studio this morning. I have Mr. Chizi Enyi, who is the President General of the Initiative for Transparent Strategy and Good Leadership. Thank you very much once again for coming on the show. And also with us this morning is Mr. Olu Chigozie, who is also a lawyer. He is with us as well in the studio this morning. Now the phone lines are open, gentlemen and ladies. You can call in and join the conversation. Now, before we take calls, let me stick with you, Mr. Chigozie. Before we went on that break, you mentioned a couple of local governments where you said the AAC candidate was in the lead before the entire process was halted, and he himself, Mr. Awara, has said he was in the lead prior to the suspension of the process, and he called on INEC to declare him the winner. Now, the thing is, if he was in the lead in those local government areas prior to the stoppage of the entire process, why then, are you guys not enthusiastic about the resumption of declaration of results? Because, after all, like you said, he wasn't in the lead. But before you respond, let's take Prince Ike, who is calling us from Jukwe. Hello, Prince Ike. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. It's a pleasure to have you. Prince Ike, we can barely hear you. Okay, this is better.
Okay, I see. You have to extend my profile greeting and participation.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, go on.
Quite unfortunate that what we experienced in the River State, the only hub of the nation, is up. Wow.
Prince Ike, I think you would have to call us back because there's this break in between when you speak. I think it has to do with the connection. So please, you would have to call us back, and hopefully we'll have a clearer connection at that point. So the phone lines are still open. You can call in and join the conversation this morning. Talk Nigeria on Greetings 15.7. You can also join the conversation via text messages. Send us text messages to 070-1057-0025. Yes, Mr. Chigozie, as you said, the AEC candidate was in the lead, according to you, before the process was halted. So it was in the lead in, I believe you said, majority of the local governments that were known at the time. So, I mean, it should have no problems with the resumption of the coalition because, I mean, after all, he was in the lead. So, I mean, there's a big chance that he could win, right?
Yes, okay. The issue here is this. Like I said before, when the preferred candidate of Oboyefanga and Co. was not favored by the results that came in early, they suspended the process. And now, after the suspension of the process, the PDPs started chanting, "Bring your unit results." This is a fact. Bring your unit result, unit result, unit result. So when you look at the time they are chanting, "Bring your unit results." Let me finish.
Take a call, gentlemen.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. This is better now. Yes.
Trying to extend my profile greeting and appreciation to the guest speaker.
Thank you.
I've done more than enough. Thank you. Look at the totally unacceptable and unconventional warfare and dangerous. What's happening in a place called River State, the only hub of the nation, the economic base of the state, of the nation. So, are we going to be happy in our state, one of the states of the federation, being in need of authoritative anarchy and also catastrophism? In fact, what are we trying to do? Is it an abomination that we allow APC to be the administrator in this administration? They should govern with example so that other people will learn from them. Understand me? There is what the philosopher says. The power to go down, or people who are at the fire of, policy or authority, should know in any one thing: violence. Violence can never make us to be good, to be proud, to be productive in terms of industrialization, in terms of economic, progression, in terms of political stability, in terms of academic, civilization. Violence can never make us to be good. And anything gotten out of violence will also end up in violence. Anybody that is suffering today, can be judged tomorrow. And anybody that is rejoicing today can suffer tomorrow. Why are we happy that we rejoice when other people are crying and weeping? So we are no longer brother keeper. Nigeria is no longer brother keeper. A place of one identity, political identity, and also geographical retention. A place of one system, good people and great people, the giants of Africa, people that are being killed because of political violence in university. Are they going to come back? What is going to be the present situation and the situating situation of their family? Enough of this madness. Enough of this.
All right, Prince. Thank you. All right, thank you very much for your call, Prince Ike. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prince Ike, for your contribution. So, Mr. Chigozie, let's have you continue with the point you're making.
Okay, I think the whole thing has been altered. The results have been written. That's what I stand to tell you. And nothing good will come out from that process again, because INEC is biased and cannot offer anything meaningful as far as that election is concerned.
Okay, now, speaking as a lawyer now, and not just as an APC member, but as a lawyer, if you think that the process has been altered, don't you think it's best to take your case to the tribunal where, from what you've said, I want to believe you have, facts and evidences to back all of these claims up. So, it should be an easy case to win at the tribunal.
Yes, my brother. I think the right to protest and speak out when things are going bad, it's the right
of
I
course,
have. So let me speak first, so that people will not have spoken.
Okay.
I have condemned. Then if the next step to take is going to court, I can do that.
All right. Mr. Enyi, now, the ANC candidate, what was the reasoning behind. I mean, there were other parties, obviously besides the PDP, that the APC could have thrown its weight behind. But I mean, I want you to walk us through it. What was the rationale behind the support for the AAC and its candidate? I'm sorry, by the way, before you respond, the phone lines are still open, so you can call in to join the conversation or send us text messages. To call us, the numbers are 070-1057-0088 or 070-1057-0909, or you send us text messages to 070-1057-0025. So yes.
Reason we adopted Awara is just because he's competent and he's a reverse man. That's all. Nothing more pretentious than that. Why we have been complaining and why Awara have said declare me, and now Awara of the recent publication said cancel the whole election, is because of what we just said earlier. Because Awara was leading at the first instance and INEC saw that what they planned is no longer coming forth, they decided to suspend the process. And since then till today, in whose custody has those results been? We had just this morning that the administrative secretary of INEC have sent signals to all the presiding officers to come to INEC office for collation. The same result INEC is saying they have collated. And it is our right to complain. Before we can litigate, we should first complain. And that is why we are complaining. So the question...
Okay, sorry, we do have a call. Simba is calling us. Hello, Simba, good morning. Hello, Simba, good morning. Okay, I'm not sure he or she is on the line, so continue.
So the issue of whether we should not resort to court shouldn't arise at this stage, because even INEC have not declared the result. So what are we going to court to do? The only court you can go on election issues as after the election is tribunal. So how do we go to tribunal when results have not been announced? And our most worry, when we are talking of cancellation, is INEC said there was widespread violence. And the widespread violence was in Rivers State. And somebody complained to INEC that there was widespread violence. Did the person go to court? There was complaint, and INEC immediately suspended the process. Why can't INEC also hack into this our own complaint?
Okay, let's take this message. I'll put the next question across to you. But before do that, let me take this message, which says, Chris, let the ABC guests know that. Okay, but before we continue the message, let's take Kuti, who's calling us from Buhari. Hello, Kuti. Good morning. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you for your call. Please turn down the volume on the radio set.
In Nigeria, we will grow to learn our lesson.
Sorry, looks like somebody's phone is on vibration.
That is standing for truth. No human being on the planet Earth that is standing for truth, especially one who calls himself a lawyer, we think that any other political party will stand PDP in Rivers State. Let's forget about all these logics and technicalities of the law, whatever they call it that are using. The truth is that the outstanding job the incumbent governor have done in Rivers State did not give room for any other political party to stand there. More especially this party now that is not even known. Please, let's stop all these games and whatever and stand for truth and respect tomorrow, because future is brighter. And I believe that no nation can be built on defeat and expect to have a great future. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Odi, for your call. So let's continue with that message. It says, Chris, let the APC guests know, let the APC guests there know that APC in Rivers needs the consent of the national chairman. Many APC members lost out of the recent general elections because they believe the words of APC national chairman did not count then. Except the Shomole is saying one thing to APC Rivers in the public and another thing in the closet. APC in Rivers is crying more than the bereaved. Please let APC allow peace to reign in Rivers and Nigeria in general. This is Sunday from Nasarawa, who sent us that message. Let's see if we do have another one. And he says whatever that is happening in Rivers State is as a result of desperation of power mongers, which is unfortunately at the detriment of the lives of citizens of the state. It's not a new thing seeing people stepping on blood to throne. If I may ask you, the presenter, do you think this suspension would have happened if it favors the governor of the state? I don't know. Lawrence from Area 1 sent that message in, and that's what we have the gentlemen here for, so they can give us some insight from their own perspective as it concerns the governorship election in Rivers State. So let me stick with you, Mr. Enyi. Now, you have not missed words in your call for the entire process to be cancelled. You said you want, a fresh process. Now, if INEC agrees to that, cancels the entire process, and calls for fresh elections, it is still the same INEC that would organize the process, and most probably, they're still going to have Obo Efanga as the resident electoral commissioner. So, if INEC decides to cancel the entire process and call for fresh elections, what do you think is going to change?
Well, we are not only saying they should cancel the election, we are saying change Obo Efanga, and also those returning officers must be changed.
We do have some messages that we will take. Let's see. This one says, guys, there is no way APC or any unpopular party in Rivers will win the governorship because Rivers State is PDP state. Why? Because there is no unity in APC in Rivers. No wonder they have no candidate. So allow INEC to do their job. Sunday from Nasarawa sent that in. We're almost out of time, so we have to go at this point. But let me put the same question to you, Mr. Chigozie, before we go. One last question. The same question I asked your colleague. The AAC, what was the reason behind the AAC? Behind the support for the AAC?
Well, the same reasons he has pointed, I adopt.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you also think that if INEC decides to call off the elections and to start the process afresh, what do you think is going to be different from what has happened already? Because it's still going to be the same INEC.
Yes, by then they would have learned from their mistakes.
Okay.
And do the right thing. That's what we are praying.
All right, I have to say a very big thank you to you, gentlemen, for coming to the show this morning. Talk Nigeria on Britain's 105.7. Okay. All right, we've had Mr. Chizie Enyi, who is the President General of the Initiative for Transparent Strategy and Good Leadership. He's joined us on the show this morning. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And also to Mr. Olu Chigozie, who is also a lawyer. He's been with us on the show as well. Thank you very much for coming on the show. The show will make a return same time tomorrow. Talk Nigeria on Britain's 105.7. Until then, keep it dialogued right here. My name is Chris Ogu. God have yourselves a beautiful time. God bless you all and God bless Nigeria. Good morning.